Hi, we're looking at Chapter 6, Lesson 9. Our essential question is, how does division affect numbers? We're going to be dividing 3- and 4-digit numbers, which is similar to dividing 2-digit numbers. So this problem, the first example problem is, there are 678 people in line to ride a roller coaster. Each coaster car holds 6 people. How many coaster cars are needed so that everyone in line rides the coaster once? So our problem is we're going to divide 678 by 6. And this method that they're showing us is the standard algorithm. So this is the most common and familiar way to do long division. So we're going to start by making basically simpler problems by breaking this out into, it's basically like if we were to cover up 78 and look at just one part of it. So we've got 6 into 6. And the first thing I always recommend when you're doing the division problems is to take the divisor and write out the multiples. So I'm going to write 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and 54, 60, and I can stop when I get to 10. Okay, so that's my first step that I always like to do when I'm dividing. So it gives me something to look at to find my multiples. So they're saying 6 goes into 6, that's why it's in red. 6 goes into 6 one time because it's the first number on my line. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract 6 minus 6 and you get 0. And what they've done here is they have brought down the 7. So that's what you're seeing the 7 there for. Now we're going to do the same thing again. 6 goes into 7, and looking at my number line, my second number is 12. That's much bigger than 7, so then I have to go back up to my 1. So then I'm going to have 6 times 1 is 6. Subtract 7 minus 6, I'm going to get 1. And that leaves me, I'm bringing down the 8. 6 goes into 18. That is on my number line, is 1, 2, 3 down. So that's why the 3 is up here. 3 times 6 is 18. 18, subtract 18 is 0. So there's no remainder on this one. That means that 678 divided by 6 is 113. So there are 113 coaster cars needed if we want everybody to ride. So that's how that works, and I strongly recommend writing your multiples when you're solving the division problems. It makes it a lot easier. There's the first example. Let's look at the second. A roller coaster takes about 4 minutes to travel its 1,970-foot track. How many feet does the coaster travel in 1 minute? So we're dividing 1,970 by 4. First, they're estimating. They're taking 19, basically. We're rounding to the highest place value, which in this case is the thousands. So I'm going to circle the thousands and the one before it, which is the hundreds. 19 rounds to 20. So now we've got 2,000 divided by 4, which is going to give me 500. 5 times 4 is 20. Move up my place value, so that's going to get me to 500. Now my estimate should be close, or my actual answer should be close to my estimate of 500. Okay, so now I'm going to write my multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 32, 36, 40. Okay, now I see that 4 does not go into 1, so that thousands place is going to have a 0 or an X. Now I'm looking at 4 into 19, and looking down my number row, 20 is too big, so I'm going to go back up to 16, which is what's written here, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps down, so that's going to be a 4 in the hundreds place of my quotient. Now I'm going to do 19 minus 16. 9 minus 6 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. So since 3 is less than 4, that means I know I got my right answer here, and I'm going to bring down the 7. Now I'm looking at 37. I'm looking at my number line to see what is closest to 37 without going over. And I see 36 is closest. 40 goes over, so I'm going to stick with 36. How many jumps down is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means I'm going to have a 9 in my tens place. And they wrote 9 times 4 is 36. Now I'm doing 37 minus 6, that gives me 1. 1 is less than 4, so I can bring down the 0. Now I've got 4 divided into 10. 12 is too big, so that means 8 is closest, and that is 2 hops down. So that's going to put a 2 in the ones place. 2 times 4 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2, so my remainder is 2. So it travels a little more, and it says a little more here because of the remainder. A little more than 492 feet each minute. And if we were to multiply 492 times 4 and then add in the 2, we would get 1,970. Since 492 is close to my estimate of 500, that means the answer is reasonable. All right, so now on to our own. Now this one is nice because they're all, if you look, all of these are multiples of 2. So that makes this one really nice. 2 times what is 2? I can write my 2's even. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And I'm going to stop when I get to the 10. 2 times 2, or I'm sorry, 2 times 1 is 2. And then 2 times what is 8? 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2 times what is 6? 1, 2, 3. 3. So this one is nice. I don't even really have to do the long division. They just did 1 times 2 is 2. Subtract, got 0, brought down the 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0, brought down the 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay, so that one's nice. You can just see that there are the multiples of the 2 once you've written it. This one, not so nice. I can still use my row of 2 because it's still dividing by 2 here. But if you look right away, in my hundreds place, I see that 7 is not on my multiples of 2. So I'm going to have some remainders and some subtracting to do on this one. 2 times what is close to 7? Well, 6 is close. 7 is too big. So I have 1, 2, 3 jumps down to 6. So there's going to be a 3 on the top of that 7. 3 times 2 is 6. And my writing is much bigger than what the book is given space for. So this is going to get messy. 7 minus 6 is 1. And since 1 is less than 2, that means my division is right. I'm going to bring down the 4. Now I've got 2 and 14. So 14 is on my list. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumps down. So that's going to put a 7 in my tens place. And 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract, I'm going to get 0. And I'm going to bring down my 5. 5 is not on my list of 2's. 5 is not a multiple of 2. But 6 is too big. 4 is closest, that is less. It is 2 jumps down. So 372. 2 times 2 is 4. I subtract those. I get 1. 5 minus 4 is 1. So my remainder is 1. So I've got 372, remainder 1. And that's the way this division problem is done. Okay, then you'll get to page 381, and you'll see a lot of the same type of problem. We've got 2, so we can use our list of 2's. We've got 3, so we can write the multiples of 3. And down here we're going to estimate, so I'm going to round 324 to the closest hundreds place. So I would be doing 2 into 300. Here 5 is in the hundreds place, 8 is in the tens, so that 58 is going to round to 60, which is going to make 3 into 600. Hopefully that helps you do your estimation here. And then you get to the bottom page and all of a sudden you've got monster problem. So I'm going to do number 10 for you just so that you see an example of the longer division problems. So I've got 4 divided into 3,974. And I've got my 4's written right here. The nice thing about writing these out is if you don't write them on your whiteboard and keep erasing them, you can use them over and over again. And looking at this page, you've got basically 3, 2, and 4. So once you write your multiples of 2, 3, and 4, you'll be able to do this entire page. Anyway, 4s. I see that if I'm looking at my thousands place, 4 does not go into 3. My first number is 4, which is greater. So that means there's going to be nothing in my thousands place. Now I've got 4 into 39 because I can't forget about that 3 just because I put a 0 over it. It's still there. I could, if it helps you, you can go 4 times 0 is 0, subtract, you've got your 3, and bring down. And now you can see your 39 easier. That's another way to do it. Now I'm looking at 4 and I'm looking at 39. Going down, 40 is too big, so I have to go up to 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 jumps down. So that 9 is going to be in the hundreds place. And if I look, it's 36. So 9 times 4 is 36. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Yep, 3 is less than 4, so I'm good on that. Now I'm going to bring down my 7. What's closest to 37 on my 4s without going over? Well, it's the same thing. It's still 36. So that means the 9 is going to be there again. 9 times 4 is 36. 7 minus 6 is 1. 3 minus 3 is 0. 1 is less than 4, so I don't need to raise this number. Now I'm going to bring down my 4. 4 into 14. Looking at my number line, 16 is too big. 12 is the closest. It is 1, 2, 3 jumps down. So 3 goes up here. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 is less than 4. So my remainder is 2. So my answer to 3,974 divided by 4 is 993 with a remainder of 2. Now if I were to check that, there's 2 ways I can check. As you know, I can estimate or I can multiply. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to take 3,900, 39 is closest to 40, and the 7 and the 4 are going to go to zeros, and I've got 4 still on the outside. I hope if you can see. So I've got 4,000 into 4, or 4 into 4,000. 4 goes into 4 one time. That gives me 0. Everything else. 1,000 is similar to 993, remainder 2. So that checks out. Now I can multiply. I can take 993 times 4, and then I'm going to add in 2 when I get my answer. So 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 9 is 20. 4 times 9 is 36. 37. 4 times 9 is 36, 37, 38, 39. 3,972 plus my 2 is 3,974, which is the same as my dividend there. So whether you choose to estimate or you choose to multiply, you can check your work. I believe the book is asking for your estimation, and that's a good thing to practice because for some reason estimating is a real struggle for most 4th grade students. So that's a good thing to practice. Let's look at the word problems before I let you go. Okay, looking through the word problems, there's nothing that is super complicated, except the hardest thing you're going to have to deal with is writing your multiples of 6 on this one. The 9s, remember your 9 trick that I've been showing you. I'll show you again really quick. Remember 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you've got all your multiples of 9 all the way down. That'll help you with number 14. Also, you don't need, there's nothing in this part that shares any information that you need to solve the problem. That's original. Down here, you get to make your own division problem. So anything that the quotient or answers greater than 200 and less than 250. So there are a wide variety of options there that you can choose. Now this one, do the quotients always have the same number of digits when dividing 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers? And rather than telling you, I'm going to give you a clue right here in the form of this. So when you do your division, whether it's when you've got a 1 digit out here, will this number not have any effect on the number of digits in your answer? Is that true or is that false? And this gives you a clue about whether that is true or whether that is false. So think about that as you're finding the answer for number 16. Thank you for bearing with me for this long video, and thanks for all your hard work.